centrifugal force. So you can see here, it is a fictitious force. It is a pseudo force. It is a pseudo force experienced by an observer. By an observer sitting on a rotating frame. Rotating frame. So it is a pseudo force, but it is experienced by the observer also. It's clear. This force is experienced by the observer. It is a pseudo force, it is a fictitious force, it is an imaginary force. But this force is actually experienced by an observer standing or sitting on a rotating frame. It is equal to centripetal force. Force acting on the body or on the observer, acting on the body or observer, anything, and acts in radially outward direction. Acts in radially outward direction. Now this will be visible to you. Now see here, you can see here, suppose this is a rotating frame. As we know that a rotating frame, it is having a acceleration which is known as the centripetal acceleration. It is the axis of rotation here. This is a rotating table, and this rotating table is acting like a, since it is a rotating table, therefore any body which will be placed upon this, suppose this is a body placed at a distance r from the axis of rotation, then what will happen? It will describe a circular path. Here it is describing a circular path. And since it is describing a circular path, therefore what will happen? It is subjected to an acceleration called the centripetal acceleration. It will be subjected to an acceleration called centripetal acceleration. Therefore, rotating frame is a non-inertial frame. Rotating frame is a non-inertial frame. Now see here, suppose there is an observer who is standing on the table. This is an observer standing on the table. So see here, observer as well as this body. Observer, this is O is observer and B is body. Observer as well as the body, both are describing the circular motion with the same angular velocity. Their angular velocity is same. Therefore, what will happen? With respect to this observer, this body will be at rest. This body will be at rest. Now see here, you know that one force is acting upon the body, which is the centripetal force acting in this direction. It is acting in this direction. Centrifugal force is acting in this direction. CF means centrifugal force. CF means centripetal force. Centripetal force. It's clear. Now see here, suppose this centripetal force is represented by F. It is equal to F. So see here, what will happen? What will be its magnitude? Magnitude will be mr omega square. If omega is the angular velocity, its mass is m. If we take the mass of body equals to m. It is at what distance from the axis of rotation? R. It is at a distance r from the axis of rotation. Therefore, it will describe a circular path of radius r. Angular velocity I have taken omega. So what will be the centripetal force here, which we have denoted by F? That will be mr omega square. It will be mr omega square. Now you can see here, since this observer finds the body at rest, therefore net force upon the body should be 0. And that will be possible only when a force mr omega square is acting in this direction. A force mr omega square acts in this direction. It's clear. F force is acting in this direction. Mr omega square is acting in this direction. Then what will be the resultant of these two? F minus mr omega square. This will become 0 because F is also equals to mr omega square. F is also equals to mr omega square. Therefore, it will be 0. Therefore, in order to describe the motion of this body, here we have to assume one force, one fictitious force, one pseudo force acting in the radially outward direction, whose magnitude is equal to Cf, whose magnitude is equal to F. This pseudo force, which is assumed to describe the motion of any body situated on the rotating frame, is called the centrifugal force. It is called the centrifugal force. And any observer standing on the rotating frame will experience to this force. Now see here, suppose if the observer is standing outside the table, then no such force will be required. No such force will be required. This is the rotating table. This is its axis of rotation. It is rotating with an angular velocity omega. It's clear. And there is a body at a distance r. So see here, it will describe a circular path of radius r. Describing a circular path of radius r. How much centripetal force will act? F, which is given by, here F will be given by mr omega square. It will be given by mr omega square. This is not visible. F equals to mr omega square. If there is an observer standing outside the table, what will be noticed by this observer? Observer will find that body is rotating on the circular path. It is rotating on the circular path. And since it is rotating over a circular path, therefore a centripetal force must act upon it, which is acting here. It is clear. Here there will be no requirement of pseudo force. This fictitious force will not be required, which we have assumed in this case when the observer was standing on the table. It's clear. When the observer is outside the table, he finds that the body is moving. Body is not at rest. It is moving on a circular path. Therefore, what will happen? A centripetal force will act upon it. It's clear. And here, this is the centripetal force. So see here, what is centrifugal force? It is a pseudo force experienced by an observer standing or sitting on a rotating frame. And it is equal to the centripetal force acting upon the body, What will be the centrifugal force acting on the observer? It will be, suppose its distance is capital R, its mass is capital M, then what will be the centrifugal force? mr omega square. And in what direction? In this direction. In this direction it will act. It will act in this direction. So here this is the centrifugal force. Now see here, after this there are some questions. One more thing, you can see the numerical. Now do you want to ask any numerical? So you can see here, there are some numericals based on the curved tracks, banking of roads and railway tracks. All of you open page 326. Page 326. You open this. A motorcyclist driving with a speed of 0.6 km per minute goes over a turn of radius of curvature 50 meter. Calculate the centripetal acceleration. So speed is given 0.6 km per minute. So you can convert it in meter per second. How will you convert? Multiplied by 1000, and 1 minute is 60 seconds. So it is equals to 600 upon 60. That is equals to 10 meter per second. It's clear. Radius of curvature is given 50 meter. You have to calculate the centripetal acceleration and his slope with the vertical. Means how much he leans the motorcycle from vertical. It's clear. How much he leans the motorcycle from vertical. You can see here, he will lean the motorcycle from the vertical towards the center of turn. It will be something like this. So how much he leans from the vertical, you can see here. This is the vertical direction. So by this angle, you have to find this angle theta. It is clear. So first you have to find the centripetal acceleration. What is the centripetal acceleration? A equals to v square upon r. V is 10 into 10 upon r is 50. So this is equals to 2 meter per second square. Then angle by which he leans, this is theta, and what is the tan theta? Tan theta equals to, you know the formula, v square upon rg, or we also write it as a upon g. What is a? A is the centripetal acceleration. You can see here, a is the centripetal acceleration. This thing is a. So this can be written as a upon g. So what is g here? G is given G is given 10, so 2 upon 10, that is 0.2. It's clear. So what will be theta? Theta will be tan inverse 0.2. And you can see from the calculator. How will you see from the calculator? So sine inverse, you can see here, I am showing you. In order to find, here you can see sine cos tan, and above sine cos tan, sine inverse, cos inverse, and tan inverse is printed. Sine cos tan is printed in the white color, and above these tabs, sine inverse, cos inverse, and tan inverse is printed. So how will you operate sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse? So first you will press this shift. It's clear. Then tan inverse, then 0.2, 0.2. It's clear. Then you here press the equal sign. It is 11.3 degree. It comes out 11.3 degree. But all of you remember one thing, that your calculator should be in the degree mode. Here you can see at the top. Here at the top you will find there is D. It's clear. Have you seen this? This I was showing you. This is D is printed. D is here. How will you change the mode? Because angle can be measured in degree, radian, and gradian. So how will you change the mode? So here there is a tab for mode. Have you got tab for mode? So you press this mode. You press the mode. So see here you will get here computer SD and REG. Computer SD and REG. Then once again you press it. What will you get? Degree, radian, and gradian. So for fixing at degree, you will press 1. For at radian, you will press 2. So see here, I am pressing 2 here. It will be changed into radian. You can see here. Now there will be radian sign here. This is the sign of radian. You can see here. Now it is in radian, but you have to keep in degree. So see here, once again you press this and then once again degree. Degree for degree you press 1. Now it will be changed into degree. You can see here. Have you got? So this way you will change. So this should be in degree mode. Now see here, see the question number 22. Question number 22. Now you can see here the distance between the rails of a railway line is 1 meter. How much should the outer rail be raised relative to the inner one so that the train may cross over a turn of radius? Radius is given 400 meter and with a speed of v equals to 20 meter per second. With a speed of 20 meter per second. Without friction. G is given 10 meter per second square. It is given 10 meter per second square. So see here, how will you do? Here, this is one rail and this is another rail. At the turn, this track will be bent. How will you bend? So one rail will be at the lower level and other rail will be at the higher level. Therefore, when any vehicle will reach here, what will happen? It will automatically bend. It will, when any train will reach at this point, it will automatically bend towards the turn. So you have to find by how much height it is reached. By how much height it is reached. It's clear. You have to find the for traffic moving 60 km by how much height it is reached relative to the inner one. So see here, you can see suppose one rail is here and another rail is here. Iron rail, one iron rail is here, another iron rail is here. This is the ground level. So it has been reached by how much height? By how much angle it has been bent? Theta. It is clear. Now see here, what is the distance between both the rails? It is given here how much? 1 meter. Distance between the rails is given 1 meter. This is 1 meter. This distance is given 1 meter. All other things are given. So as you know that tan theta equals to V square upon RG. You have to find the value of H. Now for a small angle, tan theta and sin theta are same. For small angles, tan theta equals to sin theta. And sin theta will be H upon 1. So what will be H upon 1 here? V square upon RG. Now you substitute the value. Here, this is sin theta is h upon 1. So h upon 1 equals to what is v square? V square is 20 into 20. Rg, R is 400, G is 10. So this is cancelled. So h equals to 1 upon 10 meter. 1 upon 10 meter, that is equals to 1 upon 10 into 100 centimeter. That is 10 centimeter. It will be 10 centimeter. It is clear? So this is the question number 22. Then motion in vertical circle. Yesterday I told one question. Here, from here also you can see question number 26. You see the question number 26. Now see here, a train is moving with a speed of 72 km per hour. That is v equals to 72 km per hour. When you will convert in meter per second, it will be 20 meter per second. On a curved railway line of 400-meter radius, a spring balance loaded with the block of weight of mass 5 kg is suspended from the roof of the train. What would be the reading of the balance? G equals to 10 meter per second square. You have to find the reading of the balance. So see here, all of you see here, as long as train is moving on the straight path, it is moving on the straight path, what will happen? It's that you can say here compartment will be like this. And when compartment will be like this, so this is the spring balance here, and this is the body is loaded here. So what will be the reading of the balance? Reading of balance will be same as the tension in the spring, and tension in the spring will be equals to its weight. Tension in the spring will be equals to its weight. But now what will happen? When there will be a turn, then this compartment will be tilted like this. It will be tilted like this. Now this will be the position of the compartment. And when it will be tilted like this, then what will be the spring balance here? This will be the spring balance, and here this is the body. Here weight will still act in the downward direction. Weight is acting in downward direction. Tension will be this will be tension in the spring of spring balance. It is clear? But now T is not equal to mg. Now T will not be equal to mg. It is clear? Now one more force will be required, which will be contributed by the resultant of T and mg. One more force will be required, which will be contributed by the resultant of T and mg. That will be the centripetal force mv square upon r. Means you can say here this is the, here if you complete the parallelogram, then it has become longer. If you see in your book that the diagram has been completed, yeah, in making this way. Will be something this means here this is the, you can see mv square upon r is acting in this direction, mg is acting in this direction, and t is acting in this direction. Now you have to find the value of t. So see here, how will you find the value of t? This will be equal to this. Here this will be equal to this. This is mg, therefore this will also be mg. Now when you will apply the triangle law, what relation you will get? T square will be equals to mg का whole square plus mv square upon r का whole square. It's clear. T square equals to mg का whole square plus mv square upon r का whole square. It is clear. So see here. Now you substitute in this and find the value of T. That will be the reading of the spring balance. That will be reading of spring balance. You can see here. As long as train is moving on the straight path, it is moving on the straight path this way. I am showing you here. As long as it is moving on the straight path, what will be? Here, this spring balance and spring balance will be in the vertical position. And in that case, tension in the spring of the spring balance will be equal to the weight mg. And its reading will be equal to mg. But when it will reach on the banked path means which is inclined path, then compartment will be like this. Compartment will be tilted. It's clear. It will be like this. I am showing you here. In that case, compartment path is banked path, then compartment will be like this. Now it will be no more on the leveled road. It's clear. It is on the slanting path. So anything hanging from the roof, that will also get tilted. Anything hanging from the roof, that will also get tilted. And when that thing will be tilted, what will happen? How many forces are acting? I am showing once again because that diagram was not very much clear. Suppose this is the compartment. And this is the spring balance here. Because spring balance will also get tilted. I am just showing the spring of spring balance. And here this is the body. So its weight is acting in vertically downward direction. Centripetal force on the body, because body will move on the circular path. This is the path. This is clear. So body will move on the circular path here, and there will be centripetal force is acting in this direction. This will be the direction of centripetal force. Yes. And tension in the spring will act in this direction. Here in this direction, tension will act. This tension will be now no more equal to mg. This tension will not be equal to mg. This force is mv square upon r. How will you find their relation? So you complete the parallelogram, because you have seen this force is the resultant of T and mg. So what will be the relation? So see here, this is mg, therefore this will also be mg because it is a parallelogram. This is mv square upon r, this is T. So in this triangle you apply Pythagoras theorem. So T square equals to mg whole square plus mv square upon r ka whole square. You find out the value of T. Here value of T will come out in the Newton. You have to change in kilogram weight by dividing with the value of G. I am calculating it here. So you can see here what is M is given. M is given 5 kg. So 5 into G is 10 whole square plus 5 into V is 20 square upon R is how much? Here R is given 400 meters. this whole square. So it is 50 whole square, that is 2500. 20 square and 400 will be cancelled. So 5 square is 25. So it will be 2525 Newton square. It will be T square will be 2525. So what will be T? It will be square root 2525. And the square root 2525 you can calculate here. This is the square root sign. Then 2525. So it will be equal to 50.25. 50.25. This much Newton. How will you convert in kilogram weight? Because the spring balance gives the reading in kilogram weight. So in kilogram weight, reading of spring balance, it will be equals to 50.25 divided by 10, which is the value of G. So 50.25 upon 10, that is 5.025 kilogram weight. This will be the answer.